How about now let's take a look at the top 5 poll in the area. Of course, coming into the night, we always do the TV 68 News Journal top 5 poll, both big school and small school there. And in that big school, it was the top team in the TV 68 viewing area, of course, were the Shelby Whippets team. You'll see here in about 5 minutes on our Game of the Week, as they were victorious tonight over Tiffin Columbian, 28-0. Mansfield Senior, likewise, a winner, 28-14. Clear Fork, a victor tonight, 58-7. Highland Falls to Pleasant, 28-0 was the final in that game. And Ashland over Madison, 14-11 was the final there. In the small school division, actually was a tie atop the spot, as both Crestview and Winford were tied for the top spot among the voters of the News Journal and TV 68. And Winford with the victory tonight, while Crestview does not see action until tomorrow night against St. Paul, who, by the way, is our number 3 team. Plymouth, a winner over New London tonight, 34-7. And the last team on the list, Loudonville, they fell tonight to Clear Fork. The final there was 58-7. Well, that brings us up now to our final thing of the night. And, of course, that's always our Friday night flashback. So, without further ado, Friday night flashback.
The WMFD Game of the Week is brought to you by Joe Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, The Ohio State University at Mansfield, Culligan Quality Water of North Central Ohio, by Home and Kitchen Supply, Empress Express, Star Collectors, First Federal Savings and Loan of Gallion, the Brown Derby Roadhouse, Richland Bank, the Window Place, the Lone Zone, the Rehab Center of North Central Ohio, Bright Choice, your internet service provider, Hirsch Drugs, by Clamp and Affiliates, North Central Technical College, Skyline Microsystems, and by Meyer.
From Skiles Field in Shelby, Ohio tonight, it's the NOL title game as the 9-0 Shelby Whippets host the 9-0 Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Skiles Field. I'm Ted Klopp, joined by Tom Linder. Tonight, Shelby, 10th ranked in Division III, takes on the number 3 team in Division II, Tiffin Columbian. It just doesn't get any better than this, Tom.
Oh, you couldn't have written a better script for this. It's going to be exciting. This is the only game tonight in the state of Ohio where 2 9-0 teams go into week number 10 undefeated, facing each other. It's going to be great.
And these 2 teams maybe didn't expect to be quite this good, but they laid the groundwork probably when a few other people were sitting by the pool.
Well, that's what's exciting about this is, 6 months ago during the winter and as soon as football was over, these teams were lifting weights. They were working out in the gym. They were throwing passes and conditioning during the summer. And coaches were pushing them. Hey, do 5 more reps on the bench press. Do 10 more sprints because nobody else in the league is working as hard as we are. Well, both of these coaches, Steve Gilbert and Coach Hale, were all saying that to their players. Now it's come down to it, and it's all here in just 4 quarters of football. All that work 6 months ago, all that work during the summer is going to pay off for one of these 2 teams.
One of many sports cliches you hear sportscasters like me say from time to time, there is no I in team. When we look at one of these 2 teams, whichever one it is, a lot of times we like to point out a certain player from the team to watch. Is there any one player on either of these teams?
I don't think so. I think these teams have gotten to this point of the season by team play, offensively and defensively. There's so many different weapons that they can do defensively. There's not just one big play guy. There's a lot of people on both sides of the ball that are very important to these teams, and all of that nucleus has to come together. We talked to Steve Gilbert before the game, and I asked him point blank, is this the most talented team you've ever had at Tiffin Columbian? No way. This is the best team that plays together. They believe in each other. They support each other, and they've come together to put together this record, and it's all on the line tonight.
A loss by Tiffin tonight, and they'll probably still make the playoffs. But for Shelby, the playoffs start tonight. They can't get in with a loss. They probably do get in with a win. We've got the NOL title game for you. It's next. It's the game of the week on TV 68. Welcome back to Skiles Field. The pregame ceremonies in full swing, and both of these coaches, both of these teams, both of these crowds are all fired up for this one, as well they should be. Tiffin, Columbian, and Shelby tonight.
Well, it's all over as far as the coaches are concerned, as far as trying to fire these teams up. But in this kind of situation, coming in 9-0, everything on the line as far as the NOL title and the bids for the playoffs, you don't need to say a whole lot. These kids have been thinking about this not only this whole week, but probably for a couple of weeks. The opportunity to play in this kind of game is just very exciting. And it's a standing room crowd only. Probably a good thing. It's a little chilly tonight, Ted. And the big crowd, they'll be able to snuggle in next to each other, keep warm, and I think they're going to be treated to one whale of a football game.
I certainly hope so. I know I'm looking forward to it. It's a full press box here tonight, and I'm sure there is not an empty seat anywhere here in Shelby, where the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes will begin on offense this evening. And this game, I'm not sure which way it's going to go, Tom. We've got the top two offenses in the league and the top two defenses. Do we look for a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to say. It'll be interesting to see who gets out of the gate early as far as momentum in this one, and to see how long or how quickly it could carry. You remember Shelby has the ability to put up a lot of points. And in the first quarter, the Shelby Whippets have scored 96 points in the first quarter. In comparison, Tiffin Columbian with just 28 points. And we were here a couple of weeks ago. We saw them jump up 21-0 against Upper Sandusky on 3 quick scores in the first quarter.
It is underway. The kick gets away from a tornado, and now it's fielded, and a break, and look at this. It's Tiffin Columbian, and going, oh, he almost broke it. Almost breaking it for Tiffin Columbian, Jeremiah Johnson, a guy whose name we're going to hear quite a bit tonight as we take a look at the Tiffin offense. Along the, in the backfield, it's Brent Wise, Brad Onspot, Jeremiah Johnson, we mentioned, Brad Snyder, and Greg Hoke. And along the offensive line, you've got Bo Carmen, Pagnard, Gass, DeMonte, Gillig, and Hall. 1st and 10 for the Tornadoes. And great field position. They start at the Shelby 38-yard line. And off up the middle, nothing doing for the Shelby defense that time. And let us check that Shelby defense. It is led by, well, they play a 4-4. Along the line, Highland, Lance, Martin, and Corbas. And the linebackers, Hall, DeVito, Young, Kraft, Stepsis, and in the secondary, McNary and Terry. 2nd and 10, no gain on the first down carry by Jeremiah Johnson. A delayed handoff on the left side, and Johnson not getting anything here early on, Tom.
Well, that's a great job of defense by Jeremy Hall. Hall's a 6'1", 210-pound outside linebacker, and he just fought through the block to make the stop, keeping outside contained. As we're going to take a look at the return that gave the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes excellent field position on their first possession. And as so many times happens, when that ball rumbles and rattles around and then is picked up, it always seems to go a long way. And John Terry with a touchdown-saving tackle as he chased down Jeremiah Johnson from behind.
And the referees, we have our first penalty. It is a illegal procedure against Tiffin. Let's give it the umpire, or the referees real quick. Ken Myers is your referee. Jim Bennett is your umpire. Head linesman is Bob Cockey. Dale Budesher is the line judge, and Paul Stout is the back judge. It is going to be 3rd and 15 now for Tiffin Columbian. From the 43-yard line, they have done nothing since their big kickoff return. Two wide receivers in the game now for Tiffin, and back to pass is Wise. He's looking on the near side. It is tipped away nicely on the defense by John McNary. And Tiffin Columbians, Brad Snyder was out there, but could not come up with it, so Tiffin will be forced to punt.
Good coverage downfield by McNary, and he might have been a little better advised to slap this football away because the reception was almost made. Simply throwing the football up in the air, and he just did get a hand on it, but the receiver had snuck behind him, and fortunately, it comes away as an incompletion for the Shelby Whippets.
So, punting is the order of business for Tiffin, and this is a great punt, but it sails into the end zone. A nice kick there by Bo Carmen, and Shelby will have its first offensive opportunity. And listen to the fans come to their feet as we check the Shelby offense, captained by Toby Stepsis, the quarterback. But let's take a look at the line. John Lance and Josh Steele, your tight ends. Watrous, Cooper, Eckenrode, Stanfield, and Spurk along the line. In the backfield, Highland, McCoy, Martin, and Stepsis. 1st and 10 for Shelby from the 20. Flips it to McCoy, and he picks up maybe a yard as we look at the Tiffin defense. Along the line, Thompson, Thompson, Gideon, Pagnard, Goss, and in the backfield, it is Nam, Miller, Hauk, Pry. You want to help me with that one name there?
Tomaszewski.
Tomaszewski, thank you very much. Don't want to mispronounce that one. Brooks and Jeremiah Johnson. I heard you say it earlier. It's been one that I've had a little trouble with here as I've been preparing for things. We give McCoy a gain of 1, and it is 2nd and 9 from the 21 for Shelby. And right up the middle this time. Let's see who carried the football that time. I believe it was
Israel Martin.
Israel Martin,
the
yes.
fullback straight ahead on the option play. And Shelby trying to establish themselves. Nothing fancy here in the early going, really, from either team. And the defenses, both of them outstanding for the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes, just giving up 9.1 points per ball game, and Shelby even better than that, 8.3 per ball game. And as Ted mentioned, the top two teams offensively and defensively in the NOL. So your guess is as good as anybody is what we could expect tonight. High scoring, low scoring, or it could come down to special teams. And we already saw the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes with an outstanding kickoff return on their first kickoff.
Big 3rd down conversion here. Tiffin failed on their first one. Let's see how Shelby does. Stepsis is sacked. And sacked that time by Tiffin's Nick Miller.
Nick Miller coming in strong from his outside linebacking position. Not a real big kid. He's just 5'8", 155 pounds. But I'll tell you what, he made himself felt as we take a look at the replay, and in there very, very quickly. And he was all over Toby Stepsis. Stepsis really with no time to look downfield to make any kind of a decision, and the Whippets are forced to punt on their first possession.
Punting for Shelby, Eric Will. He gets a nice kick away, end over end style. It is caught and immediately dropped. Is number 6 for Tiffin, Brad Snyder, and so Tiffin Columbian, although neither team able to move the football after that initial kickoff, Tiffin again with good field position inside Shelby territory. They will start at the Shelby 43-yard line.
Take a look at the guts by Brad Snyder on this punt return. He's surrounded by Shelby Whippets. He makes the catch and is then tackled. 4 Shelby Whippets surrounding the back man for the punt return, Brad Snyder, the junior, 5'7", 135 pounds. And as Ted mentioned, in right now a battle of field position, it's the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes with pretty good field position on their second possession.
And Wise going to the shotgun here on first down. It is caught by Snyder, and he picks up about 5.
Well, Steve Gilbert talked to us prior to the game, and he was laughing a little bit when he said, this is the most we've ever thrown the football. Those of you around the area remember Steve Gilbert. He's a former head coach at Mansfield Senior, former head coach at Ashland Crestview, and he said, in no time ever in my coaching career have we thrown the football more than we've ever run until this year. And he said, and that's what has made us so strong, and we're going to stay with it.
2nd and 5 following the pickup on first down. Give it to Johnson, and he is going to be a couple of yards short of a first down.
John Lance, the defensive end's got to come into that backfield a little bit more under control. He ran right past the ball carrier on and in charge and never really saw him. He's got to get himself under control once he crosses that line of scrimmage and find out where the football is. They did not need to block him on that opportunity because he ran past the football and too much of a strong charge into the backfield.
3rd and 2 from the 35. Neither team able to convert on a third down yet. Let's see if Tiffin can. No! Johnson stood up and stopped.
Great defensive charge by the Shelby Whippets, led by Ryan Kraft, the 6'1", 185-pound senior for the Whippet defense. He came blowing through the line of scrimmage to make the initial hit, and nowhere to go for the Tiffin running back, Jeremiah Johnson.
And we look at the replay as I point out to you that the reason they're going to Johnson, he's the #1 back in the NOL. Shelby up to the challenge so far.
Well, he's finding it hard going right now. Check it out.
They're going to go for it here. 4th and 2 for Tiffin, and they are going to go for it. A big play early on here.
Shelby, 10 men on that line of scrimmage.
Give it to Johnson, and he is tackled for a loss.
Right now, the Shelby Whippets are just flying off that football defensively. Not just 1 or 2 guys into the backfield. They had 3 or 4 defenders 3 yards deep into the backfield. Not a chance for the Tiffin Columbian Tornado. Look at the red jerseys on that replay into the backfield. Great penetration along that line. And these guys, the Hungry Hounds, they are ready to play some football.
Johnson so far 5 carries, 3 yards. Not good for the top back in the NOL. Shelby, 1st and 10 from the 36. And this is Martin carrying tacklers. He has a no-nonsense style to the way he runs a football, Tom.
Well, I was very impressed with him a couple of weeks ago against Upper Sandusky when he broke through on a straight dive play from 40 yards out and then outran the secondary to the end zone in a touchdown. And right now, look how quickly, and this is a big kid. I mean, big kid. We were down on the field when the teams were outstretching it, and I was still very impressed with the size of this young man. And he's going to go play Division I football somewhere. Probably anywhere he wants, actually. He's a very talented young man, both offensively and defensively.
He stands 6'1", carries 255 pounds with him. Israel Martin, another name that I'm sure you'll hear quite a bit of. 115 carries coming in, just over 600 yards and 10 touchdowns this year. 2nd and 5, Stepsis on the keeper, breaks it, and nearly broke it all the way. He does pick up a first down, the first for either team.
Yeah, and it was a nice read by Stepsis. He puts the football into the stomach of the fullback. He sees that everybody defensively closes down. So Stepsis, as we take a look at the replay, there's the dive play. Look at the lead blocking by the running backs, and he is out and around the corner. Good blocking by the backfield of the Shelby Whippets.
So Shelby converts on its 2nd third down attempt. 1st and 10 from their own 49. Stepsis' second pass attempt. If he can get it off, now he's going to tuck it in and pick up about 3 yards. Smart play there by the senior.
Well, I've been impressed with him. You know, he's a great basketball player as well. He's a point guard. He makes decisions like this all the time, and this was a good one. He pulls the football down. He does not want to force anything. They're starting to move the football. They picked up their first down. He's looking downfield. Good blocking at the point of attack. He pulls it down and picks up good yardage on first down, and they are across the 50-yard line for the first time today in Columbian territory.
2nd and 6 now from the 47. Option to McCoy. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all. Maybe a pickup of 1, depending on where they spot the football, but that is it.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Shelby's very fortunate. A nice individual effort by Jason McCoy. This won't show up in any stats anywhere, but this was a very hard pitch because Stepsis was under pressure, and McCoy pulled it out of his shoulder pads and off his face mask to maintain possession of that football. He didn't get a whole lot of yardage, Ted, but the fact that he just held on to the football after a pretty strong pitch by Stepsis keeps the Shelby Whippets with an opportunity to pick up a first down.
3rd and 4. Their third down conversion attempt. Up the middle, Martin nearly breaks it, carrying 2 tacklers with him, and still going, and finally dragged down at the 19.
I told you I like this kid from the get-go, not only because of his quickness and his ability to get through the line of scrimmage, but you are not going to tackle this kid up around the shoulders. Forget about it. This guy is tough. He is big. He is a load. Look at him. They are hanging everything they can trying to get him, but they're up above the waist and on the shoulder pads. You will not, I repeat, not bring Israel Martin down up around the shoulder pads.
1st and 10 from the 20. Shelby threatening early. Up the middle again. They're going to stay with the big guy. And he is good for about 3 that time. It seems he can just fall forward for 3.
Well, he keeps his legs moving. He ran into that stack. He ran actually into the back of his own blockers up front and leading the way for the Whippets there on the offensive side of the football. Jason Cooper doing a nice job blocking. They could not clear a hole, but by moving the stack and moving the pile, and then Israel Martin pushing from behind as well with the football, he picks up 3.5, maybe 4 yards on a play that probably shouldn't have gone for anything.
2nd and 6. They give him a credit for 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6 from the 16. 3:20 and counting here in the first quarter.
That is Ingram, the fullback, I believe, coming off a broken leg and starting to run better and better.
And that time he got about 2. So 3rd and 4 coming for the Whippets as they have converted on their last 2 third down attempts. And this is the biggest of the game by far. Up the middle, it is again Bart Ingram, and he is got a first down.
Great job blocking up along that line of scrimmage by the offensive line of the Shelby Whippets. And just a quick dive play. Watch the explosion off the line. And just an excellent job of blocking by that interior offensive line. And it's first down and goal for the Shelby Whippets. And this entire drive, has been accomplished, Ted, on the ground. They had one play where they rolled out and Stepsis, instead of passing the football, ran it. So they are establishing the ground game. Go all the way back to the fact that the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes gambled on 4th and 2, did not get it, and Shelby has taken over.
Martin, the only back in the backfield on 1st and goal. And it's an option to Stepsis. He pitches to McCoy. We've got a flag on the play, and McCoy is going to be dropped for a loss.
He's going to be dropped for a loss, and this is probably going to be holding against, it looked like, number 74 of the Shelby Whippets, and I believe that's who's going to be whistled against Jason Cooper. And this is really going to hurt the Whippets because they were 1st and goal just inside the 10. Let's see if we can pick it up on the option. There it was just to the left of your screen. The flag was thrown, and that's who it's going to be whistled against. So on top of the loss on the carry, the penalty will actually come from the spot of the infraction. But it's going to back him up. It's going to make it a very long 1st and goal outside or close to the 20-yard line.
It'll be 1st and goal from the, looks like about the 18, so a 9-yard penalty. And Shelby now with this methodical drive to this point, and when they get close to the goal line, some good defense and a penalty has stymied them at least for a moment.
Well, John Terry brought the play in from the sideline, and we may see the first real passing opportunity for the Whippets.
They've got 3 receivers in, but they pitch to McCoy. It's a halfback option. He's got a man in the end zone. It's a touchdown, John Terry.
That's an excellent call by the offensive coaches. And how exciting is that? John Terry comes in from the sideline, and you know that he's calling his own number. He runs into the huddle, telling the quarterback, we're going with the halfback option, and I'm the man. I'm the man you're throwing to. And it was wide open. The safety hesitated. He didn't know who to pick up coming out of the backfield. He went to the right. Terry took it straight up the field and was wide open in the right corner of the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the Shelby Whippets.
Touchdown with 1:46 to go here in the first quarter. Shelby draws first blood. Let's see if they can convert on the extra points. We saw how big those were last week. Here is the snap. The kick is up. It is good. 1:46 to go. The Whippets have not been NOL champions since 1984. They've drawn first blood in that goal here tonight. Back at Skiles Field in just a moment. Welcome back to Skiles Field in Shelby, where the Whippets lead the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes 7-zip on a halfback option pass from Jason McCoy to John Terry, and the kick this time for Shelby, fielded down there in the corner by Tiffin, and Tiffin will begin at the 25, but we see as we look at the replay here that Coach Hale is not going to leave anything for granted here.
Well, one of the reasons you have success with the halfback option is the fact that you're effective in running the football. Just a great catch on a nice pass, allowing the wide receiver, John Terry, to run underneath it. But the reason that those people are flying up and what makes the halfback pass effective is the fact that you're the leading team in the NOL as far as running the football, and you've just driven the football down inside the 10 on all running plays. So those linebackers and defensive backs are flying up trying to help out, and that's what opens up your wide receiver on the halfback pass.
Can Tiffin answer? It's a rollout by Wise, and he is sacked by Joe Highland.
Joe Highland did a great job. He's actually almost blocked into this play, but he did a great job of keeping himself free, fighting off of the attempted block, and then right into the quarterback for a huge sack. Take a look at this. Excellent job by Joe Highland defensively. Fights through the block and makes the sack, able to keep his balance. If the quarterback gets around him, he's got all kinds of time to either run the football or throw it. Great job by Joe Highland.
Shelby fired up here. They have that first touchdown, and now the defense going to work. Tiffin deep in their own end on 2nd and 20. Jeremiah Johnson picks up about 2, maybe 3, but that's not going to get the job done on 2nd and long.
Well, now the Shelby Whippets are enjoying a little bit of field position because of the great coverage on the kickoff. Now you add a sack to that, and then another stop on 2nd down. So they are looking at an opportunity. If they can hold the Columbian Tornadoes right where they are, they're going to get excellent field position on the ensuing punt.
Johnson tonight, I have him for 6 carries and 5 yards. A tough night so far. Steve Hale likes those numbers, however. It is 3rd and 18 for Tiffin. Shotgun for Wise, under pressure, steps up, and is sacked. They may have picked up a couple of yards, but he's going to be forced to punt the football.
What happened that time is the Shelby Whippets brought a blitz with the left side outside linebacker. He came up into the gap between the down tackle and defensive end. The pressure, however, comes because they have to close down and block the outside linebacker. Now that frees up the defensive end, and the defensive end, John Lance, forces the quarterback up into the pocket where his teammates can make the tackle. So a good defensive stunt by the Shelby Whippets.
12 minutes in the books at Skiles Field. Shelby 7, Tiffin nothing. Back with more of the NOL title game in a moment. Back at Skiles Field as Tiffin is set to punt, and it's going to be tough for them as Bo Carmen is in his own end zone to kick it away. Shelby could be looking for the block here. They lead the league in turnover differential, 15+15. But a nice kick is gotten away, and McCoy going to let it bounce, and it's going to roll dead at about the Tiffin 49-yard line, and that's where Shelby will set up on offense on this, their 3rd possession of the game.
Jason McCoy really kind of fortunate there. He needs to come up and fair catch that football. He's lucky that it did not take more of a bounce and take away the opportunity that they had. He's got to come up and fair catch that. He can't let that ball bounce and roll around as much as he did. Fortunately, and now Shelby will take over again. The number 1 running offense in the NOL will take over once again.
Well, they flexed their muscles on the last possession. On this occasion, it is an option. Stepsis breaks free, and he picks up about 17 yards on the play before he's finally brought down.
Well, this is one of the problems that the offense of the Shelby Whippets causes for defensive coordinators. You know, this guy Stepsis can do so much. He's a very well read at going down that line, finding the open, and taking it himself if he has to, or pitching it, or he reads the defense. If they close down too quick, he can be dangerous.
A pickup of 16 on that occasion. Makes it 1st and 10 for Shelby from the 33. Up the middle, it's Martin, and he picks up close to another first down. Shelby right now having their way with the Tornadoes.
Take a look at Israel Martin. Very quick. He's not going to run around anybody. Forget about it. This kid's going to run over people, and he does just that into the secondary. And the thing that's nice about him, he gets up there about 1.5 yards, 2 yards off the football is all. And it doesn't take long for those offensive linemen. They know that when the number is called for Martin to get the football, they don't have to hold their blocks. If they can just stymie the defender momentarily, he is so quick to the line of scrimmage that he'll be by him. And that's a nice little added comfort if you're an offensive lineman for the Shelby Whippets.
They are just shy of the first down. It's going to be 2nd and 1. And Shelby right away knocking on the door again here. Early on in the second quarter, their first drive failed. Their second one ended in a touchdown, and we'll see what they can do here. They do have 2 receivers to the near side, and just really one back in the backfield as they have 2 wing backs in. And it is Martin. He breaks free, and he's down to about the 7-yard line.
Well, as good as Israel Martin is, there's some great blocking going along that offensive line right now as they just had a huge hole right off the left tight end. Let's see how these guys close down. Look at the push right there, and I believe that was Watrous that had just a crushing block on the defensive end, and I'm not sure that Tiffin didn't have an inside stunt. And if they did, they called the wrong number at the wrong opportunity because there was plenty of running room off left tackle for Israel Martin. And yes, indeed, it was number 71, Watrous, with a great block. 6'4", 255-pound offensive tackle.
Option play for Stepsis, and he picks up maybe 1 yard, and that is it.
No big surprise as far as the Shelby Whippets are concerned, and Tiffin knew this was going to happen. This is a huge offensive line, and right now they are controlling the line of scrimmage. So Shelby going to have to do something defensively, and while they want to think about it, they're going to take a timeout. Not a bad call.
Timeout on the field, 10:08 to go. It is Shelby 7, Tiffin nothing. Back to Skiles Field in a moment.
And I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log.
2nd and 7 for the Whippets from the 7. 2nd and goal. As we return here to Skiles Field, second quarter action. McCoy on the option, trying to turn the corner. He's to the 5. Touchdown!
Pure, unadulterated speed. If we're high atop the stands and we look out, there was one red shirt. That was Jason McCoy with the football. He was being chased by 6 white jerseys, and there was no way I was giving him, if I'm a betting man, and I am, that he's getting there from the 5-yard line. He turned that corner and was into the end zone with a dive. Unbelievable. No substitution for speed in this particular case. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jerseys. He turns the corner, dives in, puts the nose of the football over the plane of the goal line, and very quickly, things do not look good for Tiffin Columbia.
John Terry on to attempt his 2nd extra point of the game. It is good. 10:01 to go. Shelby dominating Tiffin Columbian here tonight. Wow.
Now, we talked about it, and having not seen Tiffin, I didn't know what to expect. I knew what to expect out of Shelby. Now, the key for Shelby is they have done prior. They have jumped out on a lot of teams. As we said, they have scored 96 points in the first quarter throughout the season compared to Tiffin Columbian's 28. Now, Tiffin Columbian, however, has scored 96 points in the second quarter throughout the season, while Shelby also has scored 85. But in that contest, we saw Shelby kind of go into a lull, relax a little bit. And that's right now what the coaches, I'm sure, on the near sideline are saying. We cannot relax. We cannot let this team off the hook. We cannot allow them to claw back into this ball game. So they're looking for the knockout punch before we ever hit halftime.
Well, they're very close. The way they're moving the football, it doesn't look like Tiffin can really slow them down. Shelby set to kick off with a 14-zip lead here with 10:01 to go in the second quarter. This one is squibbed, and it goes out of bounds, and that's going to be a penalty against the Whippets.
Well, following the penalty, Tiffin will have excellent field position, but it doesn't seem to matter. It hasn't mattered because on 3 of their 4 possessions, they've had excellent field position. We've got illegal procedure because of the kick out of bounds against Shelby. That's the penalty, and Tiffin will get it at their own 35-yard line. But, Ted, we were talking, and stat-wise, 11 carries or 11 plays for Tiffin Columbian, and they are at 0 yardage, -5 rushing. They have 5 yards passing for a total of 0 yards on 11 plays. Unbelievable defense right now by the Shelby Whippets.
So Tiffin will look to add to those stats. Trips receivers to the near side. Wise looking that way. Over the middle, it is caught. Caught at time. And catching the football is Andrew Newman.
Take a look at this. They have 3 receivers to the near side of the field. They come out and look at them. They all go in different directions. It's like a fire drill. And they find the open man, and a nice job by the Tiffin quarterback, Brent Wise, to find the open man. 13-yard reception in the first down comes with 9:43 remaining for Tiffin.
1st and 10 from the 48. Jeremiah Johnson, finally a little bit of a hole, and he exploits it for all that was there. And that's going to be a pickup of about 4.
Well, play 12 and play 13 for Tiffin Columbian are the 2 most productive plays of the first 11. Let's take a replay. Isolation, nice lead block by the fullback, Brad Onspa, who did a great job on the isolating the defensive end or outside linebacker to the outside to allow Johnson for a couple of yards on first down.
2nd and 7. Wise looking, throwing, it is caught. A nice catch that time by Brad Snyder.
Great coverage, great pass. The defense was there, but it was an excellent pass by Wise, hooking up with Brad Snyder. Take a look at this. It's going to be another Tiffin Columbian first down. He's looking downfield. Look at the coverage. It's right there, and he just put it right on the number 6 for Tiffin. That is Brad Snyder.
So, 1st and 10 from the Shelby 42. Tiffin. Johnson picks up about 3. Tackled by a number of Whippet defenders on that occasion.
Well, don't think that the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes are going to fold up their 10 and go home just because they've been scored on twice. That's not going to happen. This is a pretty good offense, an offense that has been averaging in the NOL overall that has been averaging 26 points a contest. Here they go with a quick pitch. They put the fullback in motion. He's one of the lead blockers. You see him out there in front. That's number 33, Brad Onspa. The pitch goes to Jeremiah Johnson for a couple of yards.
2nd and 7 from the Shelby 39. Wise lobs it out. It is tipped and incomplete. A nice defensive play by Nick DeVito.
Now, DeVito very fortunate that ball wasn't caught because he gambled a bit by coming out in front of the receiver. If Onspa makes this catch, then DeVito is nowhere in position to make the tackle, and he almost did make the catch. Onspa could have gone down that far sideline, so DeVito gambling a little bit, got away with it this time.
I thought maybe DeVito tipped it, but apparently he didn't. So 3rd and 7 now for Tiffin. They have yet to convert on 3rd down this evening. Wise under pressure and sacked. That looked like a busted play. Wise just kind of stood there.
He's trying to go with a shovel pass, maybe.
Yeah.
And too much penetration before he could even get, you want to, on the shovel pass, you want that initial rush to come in and come past you, much like a screen. He was trying to get the football to number 27, Jeremiah Johnson, on the shovel, but there was no way. Too much pressure right through the middle of the offense by the defensive down man, Ryan Kraft, for the Shelby Whippets.
So 4th and 13, Tiffin going to punt. They're at midfield. And Bo Carmen has gotten off two nice ones thus far. This one is a little shorter, but that's probably what they wanted from him. They can try to pin Shelby in their own end. They're going to put the Whippets at about their own 13 to begin their next drive here with 6:56 to go before halftime.
Well, right there's the young man, number 51, Ryan Kraft, coming off the field. He had the big sack of the quarterback on that third down situation for Tiffin, but Tiffin finally able to move the football, picking up a couple of first downs, mixing the pass and the run effectively. But this is the problem they've faced. Their defense has been unable to stop the Shelby Whippets.
1st and 10 for Shelby. Spot the ball at the 14. McCoy with a nice hole, a nice spin. He just bounced off and kept going forward that time, Tom.
Well, he had all the momentum, and he ran head-on into the defender, the outside linebacker, Nate Naum. And I'll tell you what, he bounced off and spun out of it. Watch this. He spuns out for an additional 4 or 5 yards. Watch the collision. Bam, helmet to helmet. And he left Nate Naum, the outside linebacker, sitting on the seat of his pants back at the original line of scrimmage while he went downfield to pick up an extra 4 yards.
2nd and 4 now. Stepsis hands it off up the middle to the big guy, Israel Martin. And, I guess Stepsis did not. That misdirection offense for Shelby is very good.
Well, a nice job by Nick Miller, the outside linebacker. And as we mentioned, Nick Miller is not very big, just 5'8", 155 pounds. But there you see him close down. And he's just not big enough at that point of attack to drag down the bigger Toby Stepsis at 6 foot, 200 pounds. And Stepsis able to drag him forward and pick up the first down yardage.
1st and 10 from the 25. Hand off to McCoy. He's got some room and nearly broke out of a tackle, but he picks up 6, maybe 7 on the play. See where they spot the football, and they are just hammering away.
Well, here's the effectiveness. Because Israel Martin is running so well, when you go play action to Israel Martin to one side, then come back with McCoy in the opposite direction, linebackers right now are having a tendency to fly out of their position, out of their lanes to go after Martin on the play action fake. And that makes the effectiveness of McCoy even better.
And on this occasion, it is Martin, and he is close to a first down. I think he's got it.
Well, they're going to spot him across the 35-yard line, Ted, and if that's the spot by the officials, that's plenty for the first down, and indeed it is. So Shelby Whippets, they don't need to throw the football if they don't have to, but what happens is they'll start to lull you to sleep as they did with that halfback pass on their first play, and in from the sideline in a scene very reminiscent from the touchdown play. John Terry comes in, he calls the play. Or brings the play, I should say, in from the sideline, and head coach Hale.
Israel Martin thus far, 7 carries, 67 yards. 1st and 10 for Shelby. 5 minutes to go before the half. They have the ball at their own 35, and that's Martin falling forward for a pickup of about 4, maybe 5.
And not only is this drive picking up first downs, but because they're keeping the football on the ground, Ted, they're chewing up huge amounts of the clock. Clock is winding down. We're under 4.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. And if they can do this, grind it out, continue to hold the football, it's going to be obviously very difficult for Tiffin Columbia to climb back in this.
2nd and 5. And off. Martin just ran over one of his own blockers to get the first down.
Jason McCoy better get out of the way here. Young man's going to get hurt. He was downfield on the lead block. As on a delay, they give it to Martin. Watch Martin. He says, hey, Jason, man, if you're going to block. If you're not, going to get out of the way because I'm coming through. Come on, man. Get out of the way. Here I come.
Well, we told you. Martin is 6'1" and 255.
I'll tell you
McCoy, 5'8", 160.
He should have a whistle, a horn, a light, and a cow catcher on him. That is one big boy.
1st and 10 from the 47. And on this occasion, carrying the football, Bart Ingram.
Well, Bart Ingram, all he does is just bring another dimension to this running game of the Shelby Whippets.
2nd and 8 from the 49 now for Shelby. 3:30 to go, and the Shelby Whippets appear to be methodically driving towards another score. They are at midfield. Motion one way and then the other by McCoy. He gets the football, tries to get to the outside, and he picks up yardage into Tornado territory. Looks like a pickup of about 4.
I like this play. What they do is they shift the tight end, the big tight end, Josh Steele, and they bring him over to the left side. They run this to the short side. They actually start the man. Looks like he's going to go. Everything's going to be going to the right side, but the offensive line, they pull either the guard and the tackle, and they come back to the near side of the field. So a little bit of misdirection, but a nice play, well executed, brings up 3rd down and short.
3rd and 3 from the Tiffin 46. Shelby has had little trouble converting on 3rd downs. It is Stepsis, and that nice little tap dance move there gets him a 1st down.
I'm sorry, but right now it's all about size. It's the size of the offensive line. It's the size of your quarterback. And when the quarterback comes through that line of scrimmage at 6 foot, 200 pounds, and you've got a 5'8", 155-pound linebacker trying to make the stop on him, you know, it's just he's going to win that battle 8, 9 times out of 10. So, you know, and that's what happens. Steps is carrying a linebacker into the secondary for plenty of room and the 1st down.
It is 1st and 10 from the 40. Stepsis passing wide open, and it is incomplete. It was tipped. Jeff Albert on that occasion. Stepsis with his first passing attempt.
Let's take a look. Somebody along that line of scrimmage got their paw on it, reached up for the Columbian Tornadoes, and just did get enough of it to alter its route for the intended receiver downfield. And really, Shelby fortunate that time that ball wasn't picked off. However, that does stop the clock, and this long ground-out running game is really taking a lot of time off the clock. Now Shelby, if they want to score, has to pick it up a little bit.
McCoy picks up yardage to about the 35. That is good for a gain of 5. McCoy now 7 carries, 32 yards unofficially. As we're inside 2 minutes to go here in the 2nd half.
Well, it's not panic time, but again, the clock continues to run. They're down to 1:30, and if they're going to try to get down into, you know, for another score before the half, they might have to throw the football.
Well, they have 3 timeouts left here, so they'll probably use one here pretty soon. Martin, that time, the ball carrier, picks up 3. It'll be 4th and 2. I guess they'll let the clock run. If they pick up the 1st down here, you call a timeout.
Well, they have the advantage of that, and by advantage, I mean 14-0 lead. So if they don't score, it's not all that important, but they have put together a nice drive. Let's see what they come with on 4th and a couple.
4th and 2. Full house backfield for the Whippets. Handed off to the first man, Martin, and he is close to the 1st down. I don't know if he got it or not.
Well, they're marking him.
46 seconds to go.
Right, Ted. They're marking him back inside, and it's going to be very close on that call. He reached the football over. Watch at the end of this, see if we can see it. He reaches the football over that line. See how he stretches it out. But they're marking it back to where he first hit and then bounced across that line. He really needed to get up close to that line, and that line is the 30-yard line. But now where they spot the football, it looks like he's going to have it by about the length of the ball.
1st down for the Whippets.
There you see it. He just did get it on the stretching that football out, trying to get it near that 30-yard line. So now Shelby will take one of their remaining timeouts, Ted.
Yep, 46 seconds to go. Shelby's first time out of the half as they look to add to their 14-point lead. Back to Shelby in a moment. Well, that young lady obviously very happy. Her Whippets up 14-0 here, looking to add to that lead.
Well, if they're going to do that, Ted, with just 46 seconds left on the clock, they're going to have to run some pass things to the outside. You know, they do have some timeouts remaining, but they're going to have to try to get the football out to the sidelines to stop the clock that way and still move it, you know, another 30 yards downfield. I think with another 15 yards, they might be into field goal range.
1st and 10 from the Tornado 30-yard line. 46 seconds to go. Shelby with 2 timeouts left. Tiffin has 2 also. Stepsis looking, firing, and incomplete.
Well, that won't hurt him on 1st down. Just takes 6 seconds off the clock. And again, Stepsis very smart. He's not going to force anything downfield into coverage if the receiver's not there. This pass was thrown so that if the receiver couldn't get it, nobody else could either. It stops the clock with still plenty of time, 40 seconds.
2nd and 10. And Shelby, at this point, forced to go away from its strength, at least its strength this evening, which has been its dominating rushing attack. 40 seconds to go. Stepsis fakes a handoff over the middle, tipped up in the air and incomplete. Tipped up in the air that time by Nate Hauk.
Inside linebacker for the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes. He got a hand on it. It falls incomplete, stopping the clock on the incompletion with 36 seconds. Now, more importantly, it's a 3rd down and 9, or 3rd down and 10 situation for Shelby. So they got to decide whether they want to go for the 1st down or just move that ball into the center of the field and try for a field goal.
3rd and 10. Stepsis hands it off. Nice draw to McCoy. I beg your pardon, that's Ingram. And he picks up good yardage inside the 20. It's a 1st down with 29 seconds to go. And the Whippets are going to take time.
Great call offensively once again on 3rd and 10. Everybody thinking pass. They send McCoy in motion to the far side of the field. And then a nice sneaky little hand off inside and a great trap block on the line of scrimmage. And Ingram takes it straight ahead for the 1st down and then some.
29 seconds to go. You've got the ball 1st and 10 at the 18 after the pickup of 12 on the play. And Tom, if you're head coach Steve Hale, what do you call?
First of all, I'd call a couple of plays. You know, call 1 or 2 plays in the huddle. And so that way, if one fails or if the clock continues to run, you don't have to waste a timeout. You can either get on the ball and spike it. But right now, it's hard to not go with your running game. It's been so effective. But if you're going to go with the running game, I think you got to do something to the short side of the field, so a sweep or something like that, or left off tackle, so that if your running back gets into the secondary, he can head for the out of bounds to save you a timeout and stop the clock.
Well, 1st and 10 from the 18 for the Whippets. 29 seconds to go, 1st half. 3 receivers to the top side for Toby Stepsis. Rolls right, looks back, looks end zone. He's got a man. It is incomplete.
Well, intended downfield for his wide receiver, Jeff Albert. And he threw into a little bit of coverage, and I'm sure that's not exactly what Coach Hale would have preferred. And Stepsis may have been able to pull this down and head for the far sideline. He had great protection. They had 3 receivers to the far side. Israel Martin out blocking in coverage. And you see the safety coming over to help out. And that's got to make your heart skip a beat if you're Coach Hale on the near sideline. You don't want that ball picked off. You do not want to waste this scoring opportunity.
23 seconds to go, 2nd and 10. Stepsis, fake handoff up. It is intercepted by Tiffin Columbian. Back the other way, sidestepping one tackler and still on his feet. Finally dropped down. See if I can find the name on the non-numeric roster provided by Tiffin Columbian. Here he is, Nate Nom. 1st and 10 for Tiffin here after that huge turnover.
Well, Nom's a pretty big kid, and he just stands his ground. He drops back into his passing zone. This should come right at you. Number 86, he stepped in front of it. It was intended for the big tight end, number 96, John Lance of the Whippets, and it's picked off instead by Nom, the outside linebacker of Tiffin.
So, Wise back to pass, firing an out pattern for Snyder. He's got it, and he's out of bounds inside Shelby territory at about the 47-yard line. That's a pickup of 17 on the play.
Tiffin Columbia not going to lay down and go to sleep. They send it to the far side of the field. Brad Snyder got behind the coverage. Out there defending John McNary. And a perfect pass by Wise. And that's the thing. The ability of Tiffin coming in really as a passing football team.
Oh, we also have a penalty against the Whippets. A huge penalty. I believe it was a personal foul.
Might have been a late hit, Ted, afterwards. And it's going to be a big yardage down the field for Tiffin Columbia. Now they can take a shot at the end zone with just 5 seconds remaining.
A huge penalty puts the ball at the Shelby 32. So Tiffin will get a good chance at the end zone here. Wise is going to go into shotgun formation. This will be the final play of the half, barring a defensive penalty. 5 seconds to go. Wise steps up, fires for the end zone. It is incomplete. Did have a man out there, but he just kind of threw it up and was hoping the big tight end, Bo Carmen, could get there. He could not.
Well, I'll tell you what, the half closes at the score 14-0 in favor of the Shelby Whippets, but momentum right now on the flurry at the end of the second quarter belongs to Tiffin Columbia, and it'll only time will tell if they can come back and use that to their advantage to start the third quarter.
24 minutes in the books from Skiles Field. The Whippets 14, the Tornadoes nothing. Back with halftime in a moment.